My wedding wasn't just canceled by strangers, it was canceled by my own family. And then they gave my wedding date to my cousin. Same venue, same guests, same flowers I'd chosen. But here's the thing they didn't expect. 6 months later, my face was everywhere. News articles, magazine covers, industry awards. And the man they called not good enough, he was standing right beside me. My mother called me 15 times that week. My father sent an email with the subject line, "We need to talk about your success." My cousin, she unfriended me. But let me take you back to where it all started, because this story, it's not about revenge. It's about the day I realized that the people who were supposed to protect me were the ones trying to erase me. My name is Claire, and for 27 years, I was the perfect daughter. I studied what they wanted, I dressed how they liked, I smiled at family gatherings, even when my aunts whispered about my disappointing career choices. I was obedient, respectful, quiet. I thought that's what love looked like, until I met Nathan. Nathan wasn't rich, he didn't drive a luxury car, he didn't have a corner office or a trust fund. He was a high school teacher. He read poetry, he made me laugh until my stomach hurt. And for the first time in my life, I felt seen. But my parents, they saw something else. They saw embarrassment. And what happened next didn't just break my heart. It shattered everything I thought I knew about family. So before I tell you how I got my wedding back, how I built a life they never thought I was capable of, let me tell you about the day my mother looked me in the eyes and said, "You're making the biggest mistake of your life." I grew up in a house where appearances were everything. Not happiness, not honesty, appearances. My mother, Margaret, was the kind of woman who color coordinated her grocery lists. My father, Richard, was a corporate lawyer who measured success in salary figures and country club memberships. And me? I was their trophy daughter. Straight A's, piano recitals, volunteer work at the right charities. I went to the college they chose. I majored in business because it's practical, Claire. I even dated the guys they approved of. Boring, stiff men who talked about stock portfolios over dinner. But none of them made me feel alive. I remember one Thanksgiving, I was 25, sitting at the table while my Aunt Linda asked, "So, Claire, when are you going to settle down? Your cousin Jessica just got engaged to a doctor." My mother smiled tightly. "Claire is focused on her career right now." Translation, "Claire hasn't found anyone impressive enough yet." I smiled, nodded, changed the subject. That's what I always did. I absorbed their expectations like a sponge. I twisted myself into shapes that fit their vision of success. And I told myself it was respect, but really it was fear. Fear of disappointing them, fear of being the black sheep, fear of standing out in the wrong way. So I stayed small. I worked a corporate job I hated. I attended charity galas where I didn't know anyone. I wore the dresses my mother picked out. And every time I looked in the mirror, I felt like I was disappearing. Then, one Friday night, everything changed. I was at a bookstore, my one escape, browsing the poetry section. And that's when I saw him, Nathan Mitchell. Messy brown hair, wire-rimmed glasses, a worn leather satchel slung over his shoulder. He was reading Pablo Neruda out loud to himself, smiling at a line. I couldn't help it. I laughed. He looked up. "What, you don't appreciate Neruda?" "I do. I just didn't expect to hear it read out loud in a bookstore on a Friday night." He grinned. "Well, poetry's meant to be heard, not just read silently in your head." We talked for 2 hours about books, about dreams, about the lives we were living versus the lives we wanted to live. He told me he taught English at a public high school, that he spent his weekends coaching the debate team, that he didn't make much money, but he loved what he did. And when he asked for my number, I gave it to him without hesitation. For the first time in years, I felt awake. We started dating. Quiet dates, coffee shops, art galleries, long walks in the park. He never tried to impress me. He just listened. He asked about my dreams, not my job title. He wanted to know what made me happy, not what made me successful. And slowly, I started to remember who I was before I became my parents' project. I started painting again, something I'd given up in college because it's not a real career, Claire. I laughed more. I cried more. I felt more. Nathan didn't fix me, but he reminded me that I didn't need fixing. I was enough, just as I was. And 6 months later, when he proposed on a rainy Tuesday in his tiny apartment, surrounded by books and candles, I said yes without a single doubt. I thought my parents would be happy for me. I thought they'd see how much he loved me. I was so wrong. What would you do if the person you loved wasn't good enough in your family's eyes? Drop a comment below. I waited 2 weeks before telling my parents about the engagement. Not because I was ashamed, but because I knew what was coming. I rehearsed it in my head 1,000 times. I imagined the best-case scenario. They'd be surprised, maybe hesitant, but ultimately supportive. I imagined my mother hugging me, my father shaking Nathan's hand. I was so naive. The day I told them, we were sitting in their pristine living room, everything white and beige and sterile. My mother was pouring tea. My father was reading the newspaper. "Mom, Dad," I said, my voice steady, "I have some news." My mother looked up smiling. "Oh, did you get that promotion?" "No," I said, "I'm engaged." The teacup froze mid-air. My father lowered the newspaper slowly. "Engaged," my mother repeated, as if testing the word. "To whom?" "His name's Nathan, Nathan Mitchell. He's a high school teacher. We've been dating for 8 months." Silence. Long, suffocating silence. Then my father spoke. "A teacher." "Yes." "Public school?" "Yes." He folded the newspaper and set it down. "And what does his family do?" "His mom's a nurse. His dad's retired military." Another pause. My mother set the teacup down carefully. Too carefully. "Claire, this is sudden." "It's not sudden. I've been wanting to tell you, You've been dating him for 8 months and you're only telling us now? I knew you'd react like this." "Like what?" my father said, his voice sharp. "Like parents who want the best for their daughter?" "He is the best for me." "Claire," my mother leaned forward, her face soft but her words cutting. "You're 27 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. You can't throw it away on someone who can't provide for you." "He does provide for me, in every way that matters." "Does he have a retirement plan? A mortgage? Investments?" "He has a steady job. He has integrity. He treats me with respect." "Respect doesn't pay bills," my father snapped. I felt my chest tighten. "This is my life," I said, quietly, "and I love him." My mother's face shifted. The softness disappeared. "Claire, listen to me very carefully. If you marry this man, you will regret it. You'll struggle. You'll resent him. And when you come crawling back to us, I won't. You will. I won't," I said again, louder this time, "because this is the first decision I've made for myself in years." My father stood. "Then you're making a mistake." "Maybe," I said, standing too, "but it's my mistake to make." My mother's eyes filled with tears, but they weren't sad tears. They were angry. "You've always been so sensible, Claire, so smart. And now you're throwing it all away for what? A man who will never be able to give you the life you deserve?" "I don't want the life you think I deserve. I want a life where I'm happy." "You'll change your mind," my mother said coldly, "when the reality sets in, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, when you see your friends with their big houses and their successful husbands, you'll change your mind." I grabbed my purse. "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm marrying Nathan, with or without your blessing." I walked out, and as the door closed behind me, I heard my mother say to my father, "She'll come around. She always does." But this time, I didn't. The next 3 weeks were a war. Not loud, not dramatic. A cold, calculated war. My mother called me every day, sometimes twice, always with the same tone. Disappointed, concerned, loving. "Claire, sweetheart, I've been thinking. Maybe we were too harsh. Why don't you bring Nathan over for dinner? Let us get to know him." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to think they were trying. So I said yes. Biggest mistake. The dinner was set for a Saturday night. I spent the whole week prepping Nathan. They're particular, I said, but they'll warm up to you. Just be yourself. Nathan squeezed my hand. Claire, I'm not worried. I love you, and if they love you, they'll see that. God, he was so good. We arrived at 6 p.m. sharp. My mother answered the door in her pearls and her perfect smile. Nathan, so lovely to finally meet you. She shook his hand. My father did too. Everything seemed fine. Too fine. We sat down for dinner. Roast chicken, expensive wine, polite conversation. And then the interrogation began. So, Nathan, my father said, cutting into his chicken, Claire tells us you're a teacher. Yes, sir. English literature. I teach juniors and seniors. And you enjoy it? I love it. There's nothing like watching a student connect with a book for the first time. My mother smiled. That's wonderful. So selfless. The word hung in the air like a trap. And your salary, my father asked, if you don't mind me asking. Nathan didn't flinch. I make about $52,000 a year. My mother's smile tightened. And you're comfortable with that? I am. I live within my means. But what about when you have children? My father pressed. Private school tuition, college funds. Claire's used to a certain lifestyle. I'm used to being happy, I interrupted. That's the lifestyle I care about. My mother set down her fork. Sweetheart, no one's saying Nathan isn't a good person, but love isn't enough. You need stability. I have stability. You have a fantasy, my father said, and fantasies don't last. Nathan cleared his throat. With all due respect, Mr. Harrison, I may not have a six-figure salary, but I can take care of your daughter. I'll work hard. I'll make sure she's safe and supported. You'll work hard at a job that has no upward mobility, my father said bluntly. You'll cap out at $60,000 a year if you're lucky. And Claire, she's been groomed for more than that. I felt Nathan's hand tense under the table. I don't think this is appropriate, I started. What's not appropriate, my mother cut in, is you making a life-altering decision without considering the consequences. I have considered them. No, you've romanticized them. There's a difference. The rest of the dinner was torture. Every question was a jab. Every comment was a reminder that Nathan wasn't enough. When we finally left, Nathan was quiet. We sat in his car in the driveway, neither of us speaking. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't be, he said. You're not responsible for them. They were awful. They were scared, he said softly. They're scared of losing you. But here's the thing. They weren't scared of losing me. They were scared of losing control. And over the next few days, I realized just how far they'd go to get it back. Because 48 hours later, my mother called with an ultimatum. Claire, we need to talk. Come home now. And when I walked into that house, everything changed. I knew something was wrong the moment I walked in. Both of my parents were sitting in the living room, not reading, not watching TV, just waiting. My mother's hands were folded in her lap. My father's face was stone. Sit down, my father said. I didn't. What's going on? Sit down. I sat. My mother spoke first, her voice soft and venomous. We've been doing a lot of thinking about you, about Nathan, about this engagement. And we've come to a decision, my father said. We will not support this marriage. I felt my stomach drop. I didn't ask for your support. You didn't have to, but you're going to listen anyway. She stood, walking over to the mantel where family photos were displayed. She picked up one of me as a child, smiling, gap-toothed, innocent. We raised you to be smart, to be successful, to marry someone who could match your potential. I am marrying someone who matches my potential. You're marrying a man who makes $52,000 a year, a man who will never be able to give you the life we've given you. I don't want the life you've given me, I shouted. I want my life. Then you'll have it without us, my mother said quietly. The room went silent. What? You heard me. She set the photo down. If you marry Nathan, you are no longer part of this family. I stared at her. You're disowning me? We're giving you a choice, my father said. A choice you need to make very carefully. This is insane. This is reality, my mother snapped. You think you can just throw away everything we've built for you? The connections, the opportunities, the future? For what? A man who'll never amount to anything? He's already something. He's kind, he's smart, he's poor, my father said, and you will be too. No inheritance, no family support, no safety net. I don't care. You will, my mother said, when you're struggling to pay rent, when you're working 2 jobs just to survive, when you realize that love doesn't keep the lights on. I'd rather struggle with Nathan than live comfortably in this prison. My mother flinched. Claire, she said, her voice breaking, we're not trying to punish you, we're trying to save you. By threatening to cut me off? By making you see sense before it's too late. I stood, grabbing my purse. Then I guess it's already too late. Claire, no, I said, my voice shaking. You don't get to do this. You don't get to control me anymore. If you walk out that door, my mother started, then I walk out. I turned toward the door. We won't be at the wedding, my father said. I froze. We won't pay for it, we won't acknowledge it, and if you go through with this, you'll be dead to us. I looked back at them. My mother's face was streaked with tears. My father's was hard as granite. And in that moment, I realized something. They didn't love me. They loved the idea of me, the perfect daughter, the perfect reflection of their success. But the real me, the me who wanted to choose her own path, she was inconvenient. So I made my choice. Goodbye, I said, and I walked out. But what they did next, that wasn't just cruelty. It was erasure. Have you ever had to choose between love and family? Let me know in the comments. I didn't hear from them for 3 days. No calls, no texts, nothing. I thought maybe they were giving me space. Maybe they were reconsidering. I was wrong. On the 4th day, I got a call from my cousin, Jessica. Claire, oh my God, I just heard. Are you okay? Heard what? Silence. Jessica, what are you talking about? You don't know? Know what? Your mom. She sent an email to the whole family. She said you and Nathan broke up, that the engagement is off. My blood went cold. She said what? She sent it this morning. She said you realized it was a mistake and you're taking time to focus on yourself. I hung up. I called my mother immediately. She answered on the first ring. Hello, Claire. What did you do? I don't know what you're talking about. You told the family Nathan and I broke up. You lied. I didn't lie, she said calmly. I simply informed them that the engagement was canceled. It's not canceled. It should be. You don't get to make that decision. Someone has to, she said, since you clearly can't think straight. I was shaking. You had no right. I have every right. I'm your mother, and I'm protecting you from making the biggest mistake of your life. By lying to everyone? By stopping this before it goes any further. It's my engagement, and it's my reputation, she shot back. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is for me, for your father? Our daughter marrying a teacher? People are already talking, Claire, and I won't let you drag this family through the mud. So you decided to tell everyone it's over? I decided to give you an out, a way to save face. You should be thanking me. Thanking you? Yes, because now, when you come to your senses, no one will remember this little phase. You can move on, find someone suitable, and we can all pretend this never happened. I felt tears burning in my eyes. I am marrying Nathan, no matter what you say. Then you're a fool. She hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone, my hands shaking. She'd told everyone, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, family friends. She'd erased my engagement like it was nothing. And then, 2 days later, it got worse. I got a message from the wedding venue. Dear Miss Harrison, we regret to inform you that your wedding reservation for June 12th has been canceled as per your mother's request. A full refund has been processed. We wish you all the best. She canceled my venue. The venue I'd booked 6 months in advance, the one Nathan and I had chosen together. I called her again. How dare you? I'm doing you a favor. A favor? Yes, because that wedding was never going to happen, and now you don't have to waste any more money on it. I paid for that venue, and I got you a refund. You're welcome. You can't do this. I already did. I'll book another venue. With what money? She asked coolly. You're not exactly rolling in savings, Claire, and Nathan certainly can't afford it. We'll figure it out. You'll fail. Maybe, but at least I'll fail on my terms. She laughed, a cold, hollow laugh. You're so naive. You think love is enough, but it's not. And when you're sitting in a tiny apartment drowning in debt, don't come crying to me. I won't. Good. She hung up. And I sat there, shaking, crying, furious. But that wasn't the end, because 2 weeks later, I found out what they really did, and it destroyed me. The whispers started almost immediately. At first, it was subtle. A text from an old friend. Hey, heard about the breakup. You okay? A comment from a distant relative on Facebook. So glad you're focusing on yourself, Claire. You deserve better. I tried to correct them. I replied to messages. I posted on social media. Nathan and I are still engaged. My mother made a mistake. But the damage was done, because my mother didn't just tell people we broke up, she told them why. I found out at a family brunch I wasn't even invited to. My cousin Jessica called me afterward, her voice hushed. Claire, I don't know if I should tell you this. Tell me. Your mom, she's been saying things. What things? Jessica hesitated. She's been telling people that Nathan, that he was using you. For money, that he proposed because he thought you came from a well-off family. I felt like I'd been punched. She said what? She's been saying he's a gold digger, that he manipulated you, that you were too naive to see it. That's not true. I know it's not true, but Claire, people are believing her. I hung up and immediately called my mother. How dare you? I'm protecting you, she interrupted. By lying about Nathan? I'm not lying. I'm helping people understand why you made such a poor decision. He's not a gold digger. Isn't he? A man with no money, no prospects, proposing to a woman from a well-off family? It's textbook. He didn't even know about our money when he proposed. Of course he did. Everyone knows the Harrison name. You're destroying his reputation. I'm saving yours, she said coldly. People were going to talk either way. At least now they'll feel sorry for you instead of judging you. I don't want their pity. You'll want it when this all falls apart. I was sobbing now. Why are you doing this? Because I love you, she said, even if you can't see it. She hung up, and the rumors spread. At my office, coworkers started asking questions. Is it true your ex was after your family's money? I heard your parents had to step in. That must have been hard. I stopped correcting them. It was exhausting. Nathan was devastated. People at school are asking me about it, he said one night, his voice hollow. One of the other teachers pulled me aside and asked if I was okay after the breakup. I didn't even know what she was talking about. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. It is. It's my family. Claire, he took my hands. This isn't on you, but we need to decide something. What? I mean, we can spend all our energy trying to fix your family's lies, or we can just move forward. We can spend all our energy trying to fix your family's lies, or we can just live our lives, get married, be happy, and let them deal with the fallout. I looked at him, this kind, patient, good man who didn't deserve any of this. I want to marry you, I said. Then let's do it. But the venue. We'll find another one, a smaller one. We don't need a big wedding. We just need each other. He was right. We didn't need our family's approval. We didn't need their money. We just needed us. So we started planning again. A small ceremony, just close friends, nothing extravagant. And for a moment, I thought we were free. But then I got the invitation, the one that shattered me completely. The invitation came in the mail. Cream-colored cardstock, gold embossing, elegant calligraphy. At first, I thought it was junk mail. Then I read it. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Jessica Marie Thompson and Bradley James Whitmore. My cousin Jessica, getting married. That wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was the date, June 12th. My wedding date, the date I'd booked a year in advance, the date my mother had canceled. And the venue? The same one, the Ashford Estate, the same gardens, the same ballroom. I stared at the invitation, my hands trembling. This wasn't a coincidence. I called Jessica. Claire, hey, did you get the invitation? Yeah, I said slowly. I got it. Isn't it beautiful? Bradley and I are so excited. Jessica, why is your wedding on June 12th? Pause. Oh, is that a problem? That was my wedding date. I know, but your mom said you canceled, and the venue had an opening, and it was perfect, Claire. We couldn't pass it up. You couldn't pass it up. I'm sorry, I didn't think you'd mind since you're not what? Not getting married? I mean, are you? Yes, I shouted. Nathan and I are still engaged. Silence. Oh my God, Claire, I didn't know. Your mom said, my mom lied. I'm so sorry, I wouldn't have, if I'd known, but you didn't ask me, I said quietly. You just took it. Claire, please don't be mad. We can change the date. Can you? Another pause. The venue is non-refundable, and we've already sent out invitations, and my dress is being fitted. It's fine, I said, my voice hollow. Are you sure? Yeah. Congratulations, Jessica. I hung up, and I sat there, staring at the invitation. My cousin was getting married on my date, at my venue, with my family's blessing. I called my mother. Did you give Jessica my wedding date? She needed a venue, my mother said simply. So you gave her mine? I was going to use it. For a wedding that shouldn't happen, at least now the date won't go to waste. You replaced me. Don't be dramatic. You gave my wedding to my cousin? I helped Jessica secure a beautiful venue for a wedding that will actually last. Bradley comes from a good family. He has a future, unlike... Don't, I said, my voice breaking. Don't say his name. Claire, this is for the best. Jessica's wedding will be a wonderful celebration. You should be happy for her. Happy for her? Yes, family supports family. Then why don't you support me? Silence. Because you're making a mistake, and I won't celebrate it. She hung up. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just sat there, numb. And then, a week later, the photos started. Jessica posted them on social media, her engagement shoot, taken at the Ashford Estate, the same gardens where I'd imagined walking down the aisle, the same fountain where I'd pictured taking photos with Nathan. The comments poured in. So beautiful. Congrats, Jessica. Your family must be so proud. My mother commented, can't wait for the big day. So proud of you, sweetheart. Love. I stared at the screen. She'd never said that to me, not once. And in that moment, I realized something. I wasn't just losing a wedding. I was being erased, replaced by a version of the family they actually wanted. But here's the thing they didn't know. I wasn't going to disappear. I was going to rise. And when I did, they'd regret everything. The next few weeks were the darkest of my life. I stopped going to family events, stopped responding to messages, stopped pretending everything was fine. Nathan and I were still planning our wedding, a tiny ceremony at a local park with just a handful of friends. It wasn't the wedding I'd dreamed of, but it was ours. Still, every time I opened social media, I saw reminders. Jessica's bridal shower, her bachelorette party, her dress fittings, all leading up to my date at my venue. And my family was celebrating it like I never existed. One night, I broke. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a post from my mother. A photo of her and Jessica, champagne glasses raised, smiling at a bridal brunch. The caption, "So blessed to celebrate my beautiful niece. Can't wait for the big day. Hearts." No mention of me, no acknowledgement that I was supposed to be the bride she celebrated. Just nothing. I felt like I was drowning. Nathan found me sitting on the bathroom floor, tears streaming down my face. "Claire, I don't understand," I whispered. "How can they just forget me?" He sat down beside me, pulling me into his arms. "They haven't forgotten you." "They have. Look at this." I shoved my phone toward him. "She's acting like Jessica's her daughter, like I don't exist." "That's not true." "It is. I've been erased, Nathan. They replaced me with a version of the family they actually want." "Then we'll build our own family," he said softly, "one that actually sees you." "But what if they're right?" I said, my voice breaking. "What if we am making a mistake? What if we struggle and fail? And then we fail together," he said, cupping my face. "Claire, I don't care if we have to live in a one-bedroom apartment for the rest of our lives. I don't care if we never have money or status or any of the things your parents think matter. All I care about is you." I sobbed into his chest. "I love you," he whispered, "and we're gonna be okay." I wanted to believe him, but doubt was eating me alive. A week before Jessica's wedding, my wedding date, I got a text from my mother. "Jessica would love for you to come to the wedding. It would mean a lot to the family." I stared at the message, my stomach twisting. She wanted me to attend, to watch my cousin get married on my date at my venue, to smile and congratulate her while my family pretended I didn't matter. I didn't respond. On June 12th, the day that should have been mine, I stayed home. Nathan and I ordered takeout and watched movies, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. The ceremony, the flowers, the reception, everything I'd imagined happening without me. That night, I broke my own rule. I looked at the photos. Jessica's Instagram was flooded with them. Her walking down the aisle, her first dance, the champagne toasts. And there, in the background of every photo, was my family. My mother, beaming. My father, proud. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all celebrating, all happy. And not one of them mentioned me. It was like I'd never existed. I closed the app and put my phone down. And I made a decision. If they wanted to forget me, fine. I'd move on. I'd build a life so far beyond their expectations that they'd have to see me, not as the obedient daughter, not as the disappointment, but as someone. I didn't know how yet, but I was going to find out. And when I did, everything would change. 2 weeks after Jessica's wedding, Nathan and I got married. No fanfare, no big announcement. Just us, a handful of friends, and a justice of the peace in a small garden downtown. I wore a simple white dress, Nathan wore a navy suit. We exchanged vows we'd written ourselves. We cried. We laughed. And when it was over, I felt free. No pressure, no expectations, no family watching and judging. Just love. We didn't post about it, we didn't send announcements, we just existed. For the first time in my life, I wasn't performing for anyone. I wasn't the perfect daughter, I wasn't the disappointment. I was just Claire, Nathan's wife, and it was enough. But I knew I couldn't stay stagnant. If I was going to move forward, I needed to move. So one night, over dinner in our tiny apartment, I told Nathan my plan. I want to start over. He looked up. What do you mean? I mean, I've been working at that corporate job for 5 years. I hate it. I've always hated it. I only took it because my parents told me to. Okay. I want to do something different, something that's mine. Like what? I hesitated. I've been thinking about going back to school, getting my MBA, maybe starting my own business. Nathan smiled. Then do it. It'll be expensive and time-consuming, and we're already tight on money. We'll figure it out, he said. Claire, you've spent your whole life doing what other people wanted. It's time to do what you want. I felt tears prick my eyes. You really believe in me? Always. So I applied to graduate school. I got accepted. I quit my corporate job, the one my father had helped me get, the one I'd stayed at out of obligation, and I enrolled in an MBA program. It was terrifying and exhilarating. I studied late into the night. I worked part-time to help pay the bills. Nathan picked up summer school classes to bring in extra money. We ate ramen. We skipped vacations. We made it work. And slowly, I started to feel like myself again. I wasn't just surviving, I was building. Meanwhile, my family continued on without me. No calls, no texts, no acknowledgement of my existence. I didn't reach out either. I was done begging for their approval. If they wanted to forget me, I'd let them. But I didn't forget them. Every time I struggled, I thought of my mother's words, "You'll come crawling back." Every time I doubted myself, I heard my father's voice, "You're making a mistake." And every time I pushed harder. I wasn't crawling back. I was moving forward. About 4 months after the wedding, I ran into my Aunt Linda at a coffee shop. She looked surprised to see me. "Claire, oh my goodness, how are you?" "I'm good," I said politely. "I heard you got married. Congratulations." "Thank you. Your mother didn't mention it." "I'm sure she didn't." Aunt Linda shifted uncomfortably. "Well, I'm happy for you." "Thanks. And how's work?" "I'm in grad school, actually, getting my MBA." Her eyebrows shot up. "Really? That's wonderful." "Yeah, it's been great." She nodded, clearly unsure what to say. "Well, it was good seeing you." "You too." She left, and I sat there, sipping my coffee, feeling something I hadn't in months. Pride. I was doing it. I was building a life on my terms, and no one was going to take that from me. 6 months passed. Nathan and I settled into a rhythm. Work, school, each other. And then, one day, everything changed because I got an offer that would shift everything. And when my family found out, they couldn't ignore me anymore. Graduate school was brutal. I'd expected it to be hard, but nothing prepared me for the reality. I was balancing 3 classes, a part-time administrative job, and trying to maintain some semblance of a personal life. Most nights, I didn't get to bed until 2 a.m. Nathan would wake up and find me asleep on the couch, laptop still open, textbooks scattered around me. "You're going to burn out," he'd say gently. "I'll sleep when I graduate," I'd reply. I meant it, because I had something to prove, not to my family, to myself. I needed to know I could do this, that I was capable, that my parents were wrong. So I worked. I wrote papers, I presented case studies, I networked like my life depended on it. In my second semester, I joined a startup pitch competition at school. I'd been working on an idea for months, a digital platform that connected small businesses with affordable marketing resources. I called it Bridge Local. It wasn't revolutionary, but it filled a need. I pitched it to a panel of investors and professors, and I won 3rd place. It came with $10,000 in seed funding. It wasn't much, but it was something. And for the first time, I thought, I can do this. I spent the next year building Bridge Local, nights and weekends, every spare moment. Nathan helped however he could, proofreading copy, testing features, giving feedback. We launched with 15 small businesses signed up, then 50, then 200, and slowly people started noticing. A local business magazine wrote an article about the platform, then a regional tech blog. Then I got an email from a venture capital firm in the city. They wanted to meet. I almost didn't go. I thought it was too good to be true, that I wasn't ready, that I'd somehow mess it up. But Nathan convinced me. Claire, this is what you've been working toward. Go. So I went. I walked into that sleek, glass-walled office in my best blazer and pitched my heart out. I talked about the mission, the growth, the potential, and at the end, the lead investor leaned back in her chair and said, "We're interested." 3 months later, they offered $500,000 in funding, $500,000 for my idea, my company. I signed the deal in a conference room overlooking the city, Nathan beside me, holding my hand. And when we walked out, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: vindication. But I didn't tell my family. I didn't call my mother. I didn't email my father. I just kept building, because this wasn't about them anymore. It was about me. Over the next 6 months, Bridge Local exploded. We expanded to 5 cities. We onboarded over 1,000 businesses. We hired a small team. And then I got a call from a journalist. Forbes was doing a feature on emerging women entrepreneurs. They wanted to interview me. I almost said no, but Nathan convinced me again. Claire, you've earned this. Let people see what you've built. So I did the interview. I talked about the journey, the struggles, the late nights, the belief that small businesses deserved better tools. I didn't talk about my family, but the journalist asked anyway. You come from a well-known local family. Did they support your entrepreneurial journey? I paused, and then I said, I built this on my own, with my husband. That's all the support I needed. The article published a month later. It went viral, and that's when my phone started ringing. Calls from cousins, texts from aunts, emails from old family friends, all congratulating me, all wanting to reconnect. And then, finally, the call I'd been unconsciously waiting for. My mother. But it wasn't to apologize, it was to ask for something. 6 months after the Forbes article, Bridge Local was valued at $8 million. We'd expanded nationwide. We had investors circling, bigger companies were reaching out about acquisitions. I was 29 years old, and I was the CEO of a company that was changing lives. I'd done interviews with business podcasts, I'd spoken at a tech conference in front of 3,000 people. My face was on the cover of a regional business magazine with the headline, "The Woman Disrupting Small Business Marketing." And through it all, I kept my personal life quiet. I didn't talk about my family in interviews, I didn't mention the estrangement, I just focused on the work. But the internet has a way of connecting dots. One day, a local lifestyle blog published a piece titled, "Claire Mitchell, the entrepreneur her family didn't believe in." It detailed my background, my family's name, the fact that I'd been estranged after marrying a public school teacher. It mentioned Jessica's wedding on the same date and venue mine was supposed to be, and it painted a picture, the black sheep daughter who became a success despite her family. The article went viral in my hometown. Suddenly, everyone knew. My phone exploded. Messages from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Claire, I had no idea. Congratulations. Your story is so inspiring. I always knew you'd do something amazing. But the most frequent message, does your family know? Oh, they knew, because 3 days after that article published, my mother called. I stared at her name on my screen for a long moment before answering. Hello? Claire? Her voice was tight, controlled. We need to talk. About what? About this article. What about it? It makes it sound like we abandoned you. Didn't you? Silence. We were protecting you, she said finally. By disowning me? We didn't disown you. You chose to leave. After you gave me an ultimatum. Claire, this isn't productive. Then why are you calling? Another pause. Because people are talking, and it's reflecting poorly on the family. There it was. Not an apology, not pride, not even acknowledgement of what I'd accomplished, just concern about reputation. I'm sorry you're embarrassed, but I'm not going to lie about what happened. I'm not asking you to lie. Then what are you asking? I'm asking you to be considerate, to think about how this affects all of us. You mean how it affects you? Claire, I have to go. Wait. I hung up, and I sat there, shaking. Nathan came into the room. Was that your mom? Yeah. What did she want? Damage control. Of course. She didn't ask how I was. She didn't congratulate me. She just wanted me to protect her image. You don't owe her that. I know, but it still hurt, because deep down, part of me had hoped, stupidly, that maybe, just maybe, my success would make them see me differently, that they'd be proud, that they'd realize they were wrong, but they didn't. And over the next few weeks, the messages kept coming. My father sent an email with the subject line, "We should discuss your company." My Aunt Linda called asking if I'd be willing to put in a good word for her son who was job hunting. My cousin Jessica sent a DM, "Hey, long time, would love to catch up. Coffee?" All of them suddenly interested. All of them acting like the last 2 years hadn't happened, like they hadn't erased me. But I hadn't forgotten. And when they asked to reconnect, I had a choice to make: forgive and move on, or set a boundary. I chose the latter. So here's how it ended. I didn't respond to most of the messages. The ones I did respond to, I kept short and polite. Thanks for reaching out. I'm doing well. I appreciate the support. No reunions, no coffee dates, no pretending everything was fine. When my mother called again a month later, I answered. Hi, Mom. Claire, I've been thinking, maybe we could have dinner. You, me, your father, and Nathan, of course. Why? Because you're family. I've been family, I said quietly, but that didn't matter when you decided I wasn't living up to your standards. Claire, please. I'm not angry anymore, I said, but I'm also not interested in pretending the past didn't happen. So what? You're cutting us off forever? No, but I'm not letting you back in just because I'm successful now. If you want a relationship, it has to be real, not performative. I don't know what that means. It means if you want to know me, you have to actually see me, not the version of me you wanted, not the successful CEO you can brag about. Me. Silence. I'll think about it, she said. You do that. We haven't had dinner. Maybe we will someday. Maybe we won't. But I'm okay either way, because I built a life I'm proud of, with a man who sees me, supports me, loves me. And that's enough. Blood doesn't define family. Respect does. If this story hit home, drop a comment below. Have you ever had to choose between family and your own path? Let me know. And if you want more stories about people who rose above the doubt, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.